One area of grave concern would be the declared change in U.S. trade policy.
In this video, we take a look at response from our Caribbean prime ministers to Donald Trump and the government of the United States of America on the numerous threats by Donald Trump to Jamaica and other countries in the Caribbean. Also, the United States Secretary of State Marco Rubio warns Caribbean leaders to also cut ties with medical doctors from Cuba. The United States does not want Caribbean countries to work with Cuban doctors. Donald Trump in particular warns Andrew Holness, the Prime Minister of Jamaica, on trade relations with China. So Andrew Holness responds to all these threats against Caribbean leaders in this video. So let's watch the video and we'll come back here and discuss further about it. But before we watch the video, if you haven't yet liked this video, kindly like the video and also subscribe to the channel. Let's watch the videos together.
After months of rising tensions, economic uncertainty, and mounting pressure, Caribbean leaders can no longer ignore the looming trade war between superpowers USA and China. At a critical turning point, Jamaica's Prime Minister Andrew Holness finally steps forward to address the crisis that threatens the entire region. What was once a distant clash between economic giants has now become our problem. Rising prices, unstable markets, and foreign pressure are squeezing small island nations, forcing us to make impossible choices. Will we be pulled into the crossfire, forced to pick a side? Or will the Caribbean stand together and carve out its own path? This is more than politics. This is about our sovereignty, our economy, and the fate of every Jamaican. Drop a like if you believe Jamaica must stand strong. Subscribe if you demand bold leadership that puts Jamaicans first. Because this conversation, it's just getting started.
And I'd like to invite my brother, Prime Minister Holness, to be able to address on the issue of the trade implications and aspects of the very challenging environment within which we have to prepare for other eventualities, but we do so with calm assurance. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you, Prime Minister Motley. First, let me say thanks to your government and the people of Barbados for the excellent arrangement and hospitality. My own view, Mayor, is that the meeting went very well, and I join with my brother Irfan in filing a claim to your Labour Department for having us work till 1 o'clock in the morning. But it was all good for the people of the region, and I believe...
I'm going to beg Prime Minister Davis to defend me.
Thank you. And I believe the people of CARICOM can feel confident in the leadership. The issues that were addressed were relevant issues for the development of the region, and we grappled with them in real ways to seek solutions. One area of grave concern would be the declared change in U.S. trade policy. Many businesses have reached out. The private sector is indeed concerned. I believe that the posture of CARICOM is that we must be prepared. We can't approach this with any panic, and we should also accept that with these changes, the concern shouldn't only be that there would be disruption in the normal routine of trade, but that there could also be great opportunities for the region. The region has a well-established office for trade negotiations, and it has worked very well for us, and we are using the incredible resources in that office to study the challenges that could come and to provide us guidance, all the governments in the region, guidance as to how we should structure our trade policy to both mitigate any fallout but take advantage of the opportunities. We will therefore be conducting a very detailed review of our trade situation with the United States, and we hope that in another 3 or 4 months we will have a document which will give us a policy direction and give advice and support to the governments of the region as to how to treat with any potential change that may happen in U.S. foreign policy. We also discussed issues of security, and I know that Prime Minister Rowley will deal with the security issues, but while I have the microphone, it is of critical importance that the region treats with the issues of gangs, and Jamaica has taken a very strong position on treating with gangs. We see gangs as an existential threat. Obviously, the ultimate case would be with the situation in Haiti. But we also see gangs acting in ways and committing acts that can only be described as acts of terror. And therefore, I have called in Jamaica, and I'm making the call now at this CARICOM platform, that there needs to be a global war on gangs in the same way that there is a global war on terror. If the gangs are allowed free rein, they will challenge the effectiveness and undermine states, which we are seeing happening not just in the region in CARICOM, but in the wider Central and South American region. So we discussed the issue. I believe there is general consensus that in addition to treating with the security issue from a public health perspective and treating with the root causes of social disenfranchisement and economic marginalization, that there needs to be a firm hand in treating with the gangs, particularly as it relates to the transnational element of the gangs, which means that the countries in the region would have to have greater cooperation and sharing of intelligence and resources in tackling this very grave threat.
Welcome back. So in this video, we took a look at the response from our leaders in Caribbean nations to Donald Trump and the government of the United States of America on the numerous threats by Donald Trump against Jamaica and all other Caribbean nations. Also, the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, warns Caribbean leaders to cut ties with Cuban doctors or medical doctors from Cuba. In other words, the United States does not want Caribbean countries to engage the services of medical doctors from Cuba. So Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica, stood in for all leaders in CARICOM in order to respond to the threats that were coming from the United States of America and Donald Trump. Now, some of the threats were that they were going to be denied visas to the United States of America. And almost all CARICOM leaders have stated emphatically and unequivocally that they are going to stand for their people if it is at the expense of them losing a visa to the United States of America. And I think this is the leadership that we need in this 21st century. We are in a century where no country should feel so superior to the extent that it wants to use trade terms and visa to force its will and caprice over any other country. Now, countries should be sovereign. Countries should be led by their leaders, and no other foreign power should feel superior in commanding other countries to do things the way the other country wants the thing to be done. So I like the leadership of CARICOM. they have really done very well by responding to the United States of America. Now, when US gives threats like this and you do not respond to the threats, it makes their sanctions binding on you. But when you respond to some of these threats in this way, oppose their ideas, they do not have any power over you. I personally like the leadership of Mia Mottley, the Prime Minister of Barbados. All these threats, I believe, will amount to nothing, because if they also work together, there are other countries who are ready to trade with CARICOM, that is, countries in the Caribbean region. There are a lot of countries. China, for instance, is trading with them, and this is a threat to the United States of America. That is why all these policies and threats are even coming in the first place. Why would you order other countries on who to trade with and how they should trade with other people? It is simply not good. It is simply not right. It looks like the United States is losing its trade relations with many countries across the world, and it is now resorting to threats on other countries, and this is very bad. I really like it when all the leaders in the Caribbean region came together in order to respond to the threats of the United States of America. Let me know what you think about all these in the comment section below, and don't forget to share this video with your friends and your family on other social media platforms like WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, and other social media platforms. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Just click the subscribe button down here, click on the subscribe button, click as well on the notification bell, and I'd like to see you again in my next video.